Well, here we are.
We're almost all the way live.
Almost live. We got one more feed coming up.
YouTube's up.
It is exciting. We finally got them all. There you go.
Woo-hoo.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Monday Night Live.
Yes, the best night of the week.
With Dean Nixon, Kate Simmons from St. George, Utah, with TurningLeaf Health and Wellness. We are excited to join you once again every Monday night.
Yes.
At 5:30.
5:30-ish.
Ish. Sometimes
Just
we're a little behind.
Right around that 5:30.
Yeah, yes. Well, as you can tell from my flannel, it's cold a little bit.
Yes, it is cold. I know. I'm like trying to manifest spring in January. I don't know if that's going to happen.
When you took your jacket off, I was like, I'm freezing.
I know.
So, well, we are spoiled down here in southern Utah, so it is a little bit cold for us, but for the rest of the world, it's probably pretty warm.
Yes. You know what I just thought of, Dean? Did we, because it's very interesting that we haven't had anybody pop in on Facebook yet. Did we make them public?
I'm not sure.
Facebook has this new thing, you know?
Yes, that you do have to change it to make it public. I don't know
how to do it once we're in a live, though. So It just is what it is.
Well, maybe we just end these real quick. I have no clue. There's two up here. I know we're live. People are looking in here.
Perfect.
I don't think so.
Oh yeah, we've got two. Okay, you guys are starting to show up.
We're starting to show up.
Welcome.
Welcome, everybody.
Oh, we got some hearts over here. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much. You have no idea. We really should. We would take I think I say this all the time. We would take a picture of this for you so you can see what it is that we do to get this Monday Night Live happening. But all of our phones are here in front of us, so we can't really do that.
We can't even do that. But we will show you one day. Well, we are super stoked to join you as we are moving into the first of the year, 2021. We are super excited.
So excited.
A lot of great opportunities as we come out of 2020, which has been really an interesting year. There's been a lot of growth, a lot of change, a lot of adversity, a lot of challenges, a lot of trials that we've gone through as a country and as a world. A lot of things that have happened in our lives. A lot of people that have struggled through losses of job, losses of loved ones, and a lot of growth and a lot of change and a lot of adversity. But as we know, through all adversity and through all challenges comes opportunity. And being as the people that we are and the human race that we are always striving and growing and always moving forward. We face adversity head on, and it shows in everybody's lives.
Yeah, absolutely. Resiliency in people is one of my most favorite awe-inspiring things.
Yes.
So this year has given us a lot of reasons to be inspired as people have overcome really, really tragic, difficult things like you've talked about, Dean.
Yes. And it's been interesting to sit and with people that and work and listen and comfort individuals that are working through the grieving of people that they've lost through COVID, and people that have lost, their jobs and careers. It's been a very interesting thing, and it is resilience. And that's the thing that's so amazing to me is how resilient we are as a culture, as a species, and now our world even bouncing back. And I've been impressed by this idea of kind of resetting our thinking as a world, rethinking ourselves, because through this period of time, we've seen some really dramatic changes on our planet and some really cool things where we've actually seen some effects on climate because of the pandemic and the lack of travel and the lack of emissions and a lack of things. But we've also seen it in an adverse way with the increase in isolation and the increase in certain resources that are being used. So it's been a very, very telling year for us that hopefully we'll all step back and we'll ask ourselves, isn't that interesting? What are we learning?
Yes. And I love that too, because so many people just say, oh, I can't wait till life gets back to normal. I can't wait till life gets back to normal. And so many of the things that I've come across via social media and emails and all sorts of stuff is like, no, let's not go back to normal. Let's go forward and grow and be better. Right? Like take all of the, like you're saying, like all of the benefits of everything that we've gone through this year and move it forward, as well as hopefully get some of those really human pieces back that we are all missing a lot, like travel.
for you, that's a
me,
big one.
I know.
Travel for me is a big one too. Yes. And to get back to that normal is going to be really healthy and really important. But to also, to, like you said, to not step back into the normal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And this is something that always is perplexing people. People talk about, and we reminisce over the past, and we lament over the loss of the past, whether it be our youth, our age, the good old days, or whatever it is. And everybody, I always hear, I just want things to be the way they used to be. And the reality is, no, you don't. You don't want things to be the way they were, or you'd be stuck.
Mm-hmm.
You want things to grow and evolve. And yes, there may be things that we long for and want to continue to create in our world, and we need to. We need to create really amazing things in our world, but we need to keep moving forward. That is our topic.
Woohoo!
So our topic for tonight, really moving in and moving forward into this new year, we really want to talk about intention setting.
Yes.
And intention setting is a very, very important tool in our growth. Now, coming up, a shameless plug, I'm going to just put it right out there. We have our Goals and Intentions workshop coming up in 2 weeks, I believe it is, correct?
Yes, the 8th and the 9th. Friday, it goes from Friday night, some homework overnight, and then back in Saturday for a good chunk of the day.
And this is a really powerful workshop. It's been so fun to do over the last 3 years. And the fun thing I love hearing feedback. I had an individual just barely tell me, he said, I wrote down 3 things from that workshop. 2 of the 3 have already happened. Mm-hmm. We had another individual 2 years ago that had significant growth and change in his life based upon using some of these methods and techniques. And so I know in my life has been dramatically impacted by this idea of intention setting, goal setting, and really getting clear on what it is that you want to create. So I want to talk about that. Let's talk about getting ready for the new year. Everybody loves New Year's resolutions. I love seeing the gym. I talk about it every year this time. You know, I love
we really we'll hear about it for the next 3 months.
3 months.
And
because everybody shows up to the gym and they're excited to get involved. And we need that. We need to stay physically healthy.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And I really love that kind of the shift that is happening in the goal setting world from creating resolutions to setting intentions, because it is because of that mindset that oftentimes, you know, resolutions tend to fail after a month or so. Like you just kind of lose your steam, whereas intentions can really hold a lot more longevity.
Yes. Yes.
And it's just kind of shifting that perspective a little bit, because there's not a lot of difference in it other than, like, I feel like when you set your intentions, you're leaning into all the pieces that we really get into in that workshop, as far as like the lifestyle that you want to use and the emotion that you want to feel and all of those things. Whereas it feels like resolutions is just like, I want to lose 75 pounds this year, right? Without much direction. Like it's just like this wish list of things that could hopefully happen if I have the steam in order to carry it through over the next few months, you know?
Yep, absolutely. And really with that intention, a lot of that is, why am I setting the intention? Mm-hmm. What is it that I'm really wanting to create? And getting clear on what it is that we want to create is really what it's all about. And I think where we really struggle with this goal setting or this New Year's resolution setting is that we aren't really clear on what it is that we want. Most of the time, we've talked about this last year and we'll talk about it all the time, most of the intentions that we set, or most of the resolutions, or most of the goals, or whatever people set, it's all out of reaction to what we don't want.
Right.
And most people are focused on, well, I don't want this. I don't want more of this in my life. I don't want this in my life. And so it's a lot of that type of, this is what I don't want, so this is what I do want.
Right.
So what you're really doing is you're reacting out of what you don't want, rather than really focusing and creating your world based on what it is that you do want.
Right, yes.
And once we get really clear on focusing on what we do want, and then setting our intentions from there, that's when we get into the sweet spot.
100%. I love that you brought that in, because really it's in that reactionary state that I guess I feel like is where resolutions come from. And it's still, I'm beating the word resolution to death tonight. I don't know why my brain just keeps going here. But resolutions feel very black or white to me as well.
They can be.
You know what I mean? Like it's very like an all or nothing thing. Like this is this is what I'm going to do this year. I'm going to be sugar-free,
Right.
which would be a really cool goal to have. But I feel like the intention piece of it is it builds in the grace as well.
Right.
For like the days when you just really need a Dr. Pepper,
right.
which has a ton of sugar in
it. You got to stand your ground.
I know.
And a lot of that has to do with why am I doing what I'm doing?
Yes.
And that value-based living that we've always been pushing so many years here at TurningLeaf is we really have to be focused on why we're doing what we're doing. And most of what we do is really focused on a value system that lies deep within us. And those value systems deep within us are what drive the rest of us and drive what's the rest of what's inside of us. We allow these things to affect us. We can be really lost in it because we think, well, am I doing it because I should, or is it because it's what I want?
Yes.
And so your value system oftentimes has to be based upon, the really key core values, and, really working off of your key core values is really the most important thing you could do in setting your intentions. But what is it that you really value? Why am I doing what I'm doing? And not responding to, as you put it, like, oh, I want to lose this much weight. Well, why do you want to lose this much weight? Well, because I don't want to be fat anymore, which I think is a horrible word. And we use that term, we use that thinking to then set values, or I'm sorry, set our goals and intentions of it, rather than I want to lose weight this year. Well, why do you want to lose weight? Because I want to be able to participate in the activities that my family are involved in, or I want to be able to engage more physically, or I want to be able to feel differently in my body or feel differently in my clothes. And so it's really more about feeling what's going on inside of you and living in congruence with who you are, rather than trying to create based upon what you don't want.
Right. Which I think is a pretty incredible place to start, since we are, 5 days out from the big day one of 2021, which I don't know about you guys, but anytime there's a one involved, I'm like, go. This is so exciting. I kind of can get a little bit neurotic about my planner, right?
Yes. I will testify to that.
And so even months that begin on a Monday, like I believe November of 2021, it happens to be one of those where it's the Monday is the first. It's like, oh gosh, there's just so much magic that can be created with that kind of energy. I love it. But I think that in prepping and in leading up to kind of this new beginning, this new jumping off point, which it is funny that we let a day tell us when we can do that, because you could do that today, right? Like you could sit down and be like, okay, what are my values? What do I want to create in my life over the next 6 months, right? Or 2 months or the year or whatever that looks like. You can start that today. New Year just happens to really hold that energy for us in this space. So it's fun.
That's a part of this creation piece.
Yes.
We really need to be starting. We need to be reevaluating every month.
Yes.
And that's a really big piece in this process too, is as you set your intentions, they need to be visited and revisited and revisited. And the more that you can do that, the better. So if you can do that monthly, where you're starting every first day of that month and you're sitting down and reviewing it, that's a minimum.
Yes.
I would recommend a minimum of checking that on the first of every month, going back through your intentions. Me personally, I go through them daily. Every day, I go through my morning meditations. I read my intentions for the year. I read my intentions for the month, which are actually separate. They're both built upon, or the monthly ones are built upon the yearly, a lot of them. But the monthlies are important too. So in really setting intentions and organizing and really creating and becoming a creator in your life, you should really work from 2 platforms. You should have your yearly, and I hear I'm shoulding. I shouldn't. I'm not saying should. You shouldn't. I'm just saying
it's a really good suggestion.
I recommend that you have your yearlies, where you sit down and you say, yearly, these are the things that I want to have accomplished by the end of the year. But then you need to have your monthlies that you're doing every month. And they are more on your day-to-day, month-to-month intentions that you're setting. And you work the 2 in tandem. And so then every day you're reviewing your yearlies and you're reviewing your monthlies. And then you start your monthlies over the next month.
Mm-hmm.
This is a really powerful way of keeping yourself really on task and really held accountable and really focused on those things that you're wanting to create as far as those intentions.
Mm-hmm. And if you're doing that from a creation standpoint instead of that reactionary standpoint, then you're not going to lose your momentum.
Exactly.
Right? Like it's going to keep you moving in the direction that you want to go, and you won't fizzle out 2 months in.
Yes.
Because the constant creation mode. Okay, what would be the next step? What can I get excited about doing this month that's going to help me progress me towards this? And I think that's another piece. I love that you brought in the month aspect of it, and you can like day, week, month, whatever rhythm works for you. Like Dean was saying, he does it on the daily, which I think is totally cool. But shoot, I lost it. So
you'll get it.
Keeping the rhythm,
keeping consistent.
I'll think.
But
it was so good.
The purpose of really reviewing these on a regular basis is the same thing as sailing a ship. If I'm sailing a ship as a captain, I need to keep my eye on the compass and I need to keep the eye on the map.
Mm-hmm.
And if I have my yearly as my map and my monthly as my compass, and I am able to navigate a lot easier at staying focused on where I'm headed, than if I'm writing them down and then I don't think about them, but every once in a while I pull them out. And this is a really important part of setting goals and intentions and really moving yourself forward. And where people fall down is the inconsistency. Mm-hmm. Now, here's a tip. You've got to create systems, or you've got to create rituals or regular things that you're doing, mm-hmm. so that are systematic. Their habits is really what you're doing, is you're creating habits. Mm-hmm. And when you create a habit that if once I do A, then I also do B, which also leads me to C. And once you can start doing those habits and get into the habit of it, then you really start to get to the point where, okay, I'm doing this on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. It's habitual to me. And when you don't do it, you feel off. Mm-hmm. That's a really important thing. So as you're doing that, you've got to build these systems or these habits or rituals, whatever you want to call them, to really keep yourself on task and reviewing.
Right. I remembered.
Yes.
By the way.
I was trying to go as long as I could.
You did amazing, because it finally made my brain come right around to the place that it needed to. But being able to do it in those daily habits, those bite-sized pieces, makes it actually doable too. So many times we've got these big dreams that we want to accomplish, and I am one of those that just shoots for the moon, the stars, for the farthest corner of the universe every time I go for something, which is beautiful. There's nothing wrong with being a dreamer and having beautiful ideals and being really creative. However, when you bring it down on that small scale, you can actually do it. Yes. Instead of having it all of a sudden be this giant looming thing, and you're into February and you're like, that wasn't realistic. And so you just chuck the whole thing, right? Because along with that, those little pieces, I'm reading Atomic Habits right now per Mr. Dixon's request.
Yes, please read Atomic Habits.
And I love how in the very beginning, he talks about just that 1% better every day, right?
Every day.
1%. And when we get off the 1%, just like in an airplane navigation or a ship navigation, eventually you can be very far off course.
Very far. If you're looking for the Hawaiian Islands.
Yes.
Good luck if you're 1% off.
You're just going to keep just getting more and more off course. Whereas if you're constantly just 1% heading towards your goal of where you want to go, you're going to get there. And it may not be in 2021, but dang it, it's going to be very soon thereafter. Like if it's, like a giant thing that you're trying to do, but all the things that you want to do, you can 100% do them. You just have to make it more manageable.
Right. And that's where the readjustment piece, the monthly, comes in. So if you're doing your yearly, and then your yearly goal is to, let's say, use the typical cliche, lose weight.
Yes.
Then if you're setting your monthly goals in alignment with that, then you're adjusting to what's happening, mm-hmm. so that you're making those small course corrections that you're talking about, but you're keeping it in front of you and you're navigating off of that every day.
Yeah.
These are important things. And then using little habits, as you talked about from this wonderful book, mm-hmm. You're using these little habits to really hold yourself accountable to those things. Here's the other tip that I want to get to you before we run out of time, because we're pretty much there.
No, I told you we could talk about this for days.
She was like, we can go all day. So, but the other piece I want you to keep in mind is when it comes to resolutions, or I'm sorry, when it comes to intentions for the new year and things that you want to create, it's two pieces. Number one, it's not an all or nothing. And we do this a lot as human beings. Well, we're a month in, I've already eaten 6 pounds of Twinkies, so I'm done. I might as well give up. And that's the worst thinking, this all or nothing thinking. We've got to get away from all or nothing thinking. And we can't use that as a mode of transportation. The other thing that we need to be aware of is don't be afraid to adjust and readjust, and readjust. Because if I start out the beginning of the year and my intention is based out of what I don't want, maybe I started off with, I got to make a lot of money because I'm tired of being poor.
Right.
And maybe that got me going. But halfway through the year, when I realize what I've done, I don't go, oh, well, screw it. I'll just wait till next year.
Yes.
Step back and go reevaluate it and then reset and repurpose and reconnect to that intention. And that's going to be really important. Don't be afraid to adjust.
Yes. And that's literally where my brain was. So right here at the very end, if you don't know if something is aligned in your value system or not, create it, move forward with it. And then your daily, weekly, monthly check-ins it'll just naturally show itself as to whether it is something that needs to be adjusted or readjusted or redefined or thrown out and completely reinvented. That's the beautiful part about being human and to be a creator is you literally can do anything that you want.
Yes. And that's the part that hurts us is the belief that we can't.
Yes.
And we use the fear of the past and the pain of the past to try and navigate the future. Don't. My challenge is stay true, stay present, stay congruent with being a creator. And you can do this.
Yes. And if you want more of this, because there is a lot more.
That's true.
Once again, we've got a really awesome, super fun workshop that we've done every year. This is our third year since I've come on board.
Yep.
Our goals and intentions. It's right here in St. George at our office here at TurningLeaf, and it is January 8th and 9th. So give us a call to save your seat. 435. I usually forget the area code. 652-1202 and talk to either Allie or Sydney, and they will get your seat saved. And we would love to hang out with you for that weekend, just creating all sorts of magic together.
Absolutely.
Okay, you guys have a wonderful week, and we will see you in the new year. I love that.
Yeah.
See you next year.
See you next year.
Bye.
Take care, everybody. Well, here we are.
We're almost all the way live.
Almost live. We got one more feed coming up. Well, we are.
We're almost all the way live.
Almost live. We got one more feed coming up.
That's
It's exciting. We finally got them off. There you go. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Monday Night Live.
the best.